Well, Deb and I, we had just gone on 3 overseas trips. And each time we left, we had to take our 2 dogs, a golden retriever and a Labrador retriever, and put them in the kennel. And when we would leave them at the kennel, they would look at us with those sad dog eyes that said, "You don't love me anymore." So for our North American trip, we decided to make it the ultimate dog trip. We took the dogs and we put them in the truck with us. And by the way, we put the dogs in the cab of the truck, not the back of the truck or the roof of the truck, in the cab of the truck, and they left with us into Canada. And by the way, the reason I mention it, I see so many people that have their dogs in the back. They can fall out, get frostbite, get broken bones. Not a good place for a dog to ride. But in the cab, we leave from Victor, Montana, into Canada, into the Yukon Territory, over the Arctic Circle, all the way up to Inuvik. And then from Inuvik, we turned around, came back, went briefly into Alaska to see the Salmon Glacier. Then we went and saw the Bear Glacier on the Canadian side, back down through Jasper and Kootenai National Parks, and home to Victor, Montana. Our drive was longer than if we had gone from Los Angeles to New York and back. This is the road we took most of the way, a legendary road called the Alaska Highway. And the Alaska Highway is legendary for what it used to be, not what it is today. It used to be a dirt road with potholes that could swallow automobiles. Not like that anymore, paved the entire way. It's a beautiful road, but it's not an adventure to drive the Alaska Highway anymore. And once Deb and I made it up to the border of the Yukon Territory, we were bored, and we wanted to find a bigger adventure. And Deb scoured the map, and she found a road we hadn't noticed before, a road that would soon become our favorite road in the entire world, the Campbell Highway. And it doesn't look like a highway, but up in northern Canada, they call all the dirt roads highways. Now, this road goes for 362 miles across the Yukon Territory, dirt road the entire way, and we took this road over a 2-day period. And one of the reasons this road is one of my favorite roads in the world is because during those 2 days, we saw only one other vehicle. So we had this part of the Yukon Territory basically to ourselves. The other reason this is my favorite road in the world is it has one of my favorite stories to tell. And I'm going to share that story with you tonight. But I'm going to need you to use your imagination as I tell this story because I don't have a photo for it. And here's the number one thing I need you to imagine. The story is going to take place on a little bit different section of road. Really about the only thing that's different is the woods are thicker on each side of the road. So keep that in mind as I tell this story. Now, on every trip Deb and I would go on, we would have goals on things we wanted to see. And in this case, one of our goals was to find and to photograph a wolf. Very difficult to find a wolf, even more difficult to photograph one. And we're driving down the road and we see a black animal up ahead. And because it's a black animal, Deb and I are both thinking, black bear. But we get a little bit closer and the animal darts into the woods. And as it darts in the woods, Deb and I both recognize it at the same time. And we yell in unison, "It's a wolf!" But it was too late. The wolf had already disappeared into the woods. And my heart sank because I didn't get my wolf photo. But I know wolves travel in packs. So I continue driving down the road very slowly. And I'm looking in my rearview mirror. All of a sudden, I see a gray wolf dart across behind the truck. So I drive a little bit farther down the road, do a U-turn, come back just part of the way, and park the truck so I'm facing where the wolves were. I get my camera gear all together, and I turn to Deb and I say, "Deb, do you want to come with me?" Deb says, "No, I'll stay in the truck." So I open up the truck door very quietly, and I start walking down the road very, very quietly. And I get about maybe 200, 300 feet down the road. And there's nothing. And I didn't expect anything. I knew the wolves had to be long gone. So I turned back and started walking back toward the truck. And all of a sudden, all around me, wolves started to howl. And I could hear maybe 6 or 7 individual wolves, some on each side of the road. But remember, the woods are thick, so I can't see them. But when one howls to the left of me, I put my left hand to the left ear, and I lean to the left. When one howls to the right, I lean to the right. And pretty soon I'm conducting the all-wolf opera as these wolves are howling all around me. And I waved to Deb to come out and join me, but I can't see her because the sun is shining against the windshield. So I continue conducting the all-wolf opera. Left, right, left, right. All of a sudden, Deb opens up the truck door and she yells, "Behind you!" And I wheel around directly behind me. Dead center in the middle of the road was a black wolf, only 15 feet away. Its tail held low. It wasn't being aggressive. But we're staring at each other, and my camera is down here around my neck. So I reach for my camera, and very, very, very quietly I try to bring it up. And just that little bit of movement spooked the wolf, and the wolf darted in the woods, and I never got my wolf photo. But that's okay. I have it permanently up here. I can still see that wolf as clear as day. And I tell this story for two reasons. First of all, I like the story. I also tell it because wolves are another one of those animals with a bad reputation that doesn't deserve that reputation. I think most of us grew up with the story of the big bad wolf. And here in Montana, in the neighboring states of Idaho and Wyoming, right now there is nothing more controversial than the wolf. And we're not going to get in a big discussion about wolves other than what I want to say here, and that is that what we are having happen here is people are coming up with these stories that are not true. In fact, if you read in the editorial pages of the Missoulian or the Revell Republic, one of the things people literally have written into the paper is this: the wolves, they're going to kill our children. Well, I was literally standing in the middle of a pack of wolves. I didn't have a gun, I didn't have bear spray, I didn't have a knife. If the wolves had wanted to kill me, they could have easily killed me. Now, as I said earlier in the show, any wild animal can be dangerous under the right circumstances, and that does include the wolf. However, if you look at it statistically, you have a much, much better chance of dying by having a vending machine fall on you than to be killed by a pack of wolves. So next time you see somebody writing that in the editorial page about wolves and killing our children, don't worry about the wolves. Worry about the vending machines. They're deadly.